Folks, imagine what we can do next. 4 more years. Pause.
Me, dude, we're doomed. Internal polling that the Democratic Party uses in order to make their decisions shows that we're hosed. Like, properly hosed. We have pre-debate and post-debate margins polling between Donald Trump and Joe Biden in the swing states, and we can see that there's been about a 2 percentage point drop in between the pre- and post-debate margin in every, like, major battleground state, and what's more, in some of the battleground states, the margins aren't even remotely close. Now, is polling created by the devil? Yes. But keep in mind that these are internal polls that the Democrats use to make their decisions about the allocation of their funding. This isn't just like some dipshit newspaper paid $800 to get 1,000 people to answer a questionnaire online, you know? This is like a more substantial internal polling system that they use. And yeah, it's not good, folks. It's not good at all. Not even remotely. Jesus Christ, 2% positive margin in Colorado. Colorado. That's how far gone we are. The leaks also contained polling on the alternatives to Biden. Yep, and if I remember correctly, Kamala Harris is actually polling higher than Biden. Overall two-way name recognition adjusted, two-way in national two-way. Biden at 48.3%, Buttigieg 52.9%, Harris 49.8%, Newsom 50%, Whitmer 52.2%. No Bernie, big oof. Bernie's not a viable candidate at this point. I'm telling you, Buttigieg has a serious... Dude, this is the internal polling for the Democrats. The Democratic staffers, their campaign strategists, are like pouring over they're getting the feed of like graph paper that's pouring out of the giant blocky 1980s computer, you know? They're getting like a big strip of marked paper with the numbers on it that they're looking through, and they're like panicking. Yeah, the ticker tape, exactly. The Democratic committee headquarters looks like Wall Street circa 1979 right now. Guys, this is really goddamn bad. I hope you understand that. Puck News, I believe, is the one that broke the leaked poll. God bless whoever leaked this information, by the way. A confidential polling memo circulating among anxious Democrats is confirming some of their worst fears. Joe Biden's support is starting to tumble in key electoral battlegrounds in the wake of his disastrous debate performance in Atlanta, and Biden's diminishing standing is now putting previously non-competitive states like New Hampshire, Virginia, and New Mexico in play for Donald Trump. Guys, we could lose Bernie Sanders' state. We could lose New Mexico. What's more, Biden has taken such a reputational hit that he's pulling behind other alternative Democratic candidates, including Kamala Harris and Gretchen Whitmer. That's Vermont? What did I... Oh my God, I'm so sorry. That's irrevocable. Just delete my channel right away. You see the V? Delete it immediately. New Hampshire's Libertarian land? Well, you're just saying that because of the New Hampshire Libertarian account. Virginia. Not surprising about Virginia. You had a good run? Yeah, I had a good run. This is why I can't be a politician. If you're pulling behind Kamala Harris, it's Jover. Yeah. No, it really is Libertarian land. No, I know that, but like, it's everyone over there. My understanding of New Hampshire is like, every guy is, I love my AR-15 and my trans son, or something. I don't know. The memo was put together after the debate by Open Labs, a progressive nonprofit that conducts polling and message testing for a constellation of Democratic groups, including the 501c4 nonprofit associated with Future 4, the preferred super PAC for Biden's re-election campaign. Benjamin Gilbert Liff, it's not a matter of whether or not this data's numbers are like perfectly reliable. It means two things. For one, this is what the Democrats have to use, and this is the information they're getting. And for two, the fact that there's this shift, where is it? The fact that there's this like very distinct and consistent shift pre and post debate, that's significant. The reason why I don't believe in most polling is because if you look at the methodology of most polling, it's incredibly unreliable. A ton of the polling that you look at is literally just like hack polls quickly thrown out there that are done by third parties that just like irresponsibly, like with no control over their methodology or group selection, just like bleh, you know, and the information you get is really unreliable. But you can account for that with large groups of data, and you can account for that with like longitudinal analysis, like changes in the numbers over time. And consistently, I'm saying this data is biased in favor of Dems. The reality is usually 6% worse. Well, if that's the case, then we're really hosed anyway, you know? I'm afraid the far right will use this as propaganda that the Dems are weak. The Dems are weak. The far right is correct in that. The Dems are weak and it's their fault. The Dems are doing this. It's their fault. The far right is correct in their assessment that the Dems are weak. That's just accurate. The Democrats right now are barely able to raise concern over the fact that they're worried Donald Trump will use the powers that Joe Biden refuses to use. Like, we're in a position right now where the Democrats aren't even strong enough to bring attention to the fact that the Republicans will be willing to use power that the Democrats are too abstemious to use themselves. Jake Tapper reporting that Democratic governors held a secret meeting to discuss a replacement to Biden, but are too scared to address Biden directly. Jesus Christ. I mean, it's from Jake Tapper, man. Probably not just like a flippin' shit post. What is he gonna do? Bite you? I guess so. We'll have more on this at 4 p.m. ET on the lead CNN, but to be more precise, while there was widespread surprise by the call Democratic governors Biden reach out to him, he did see Governors Murphy, Hochul, and Cooper at campaign stops. Biden hasn't personally reached out to Chuck Schumer or Hakeem Jeffries since the debate. What? Biden hasn't talked to Schumer or Hakeem Jeffries since the debate? What the is he in a cupboard under the stairs? Is he in a dog cage? What the is he dead? It's because Hakeem has already said he wants to replace Biden. Those are the people you would talk to. Dead would be preferable. Yeah, at least then they'd have to replace him. We're completely unless they replace Biden. With every passing day, I grow more convinced of this. I genuinely don't think we have any chance at all with Biden being the candidate. Axios talking about donors not liking Biden either. I wonder why donors like Faith might be shaken by the nearly dead, hobbling, senile quit that's too egotistical to like cede power, you know? They're too scared to talk to Biden. Are you kidding me? What happened to like serving the country and not yourself? Biden will say they have the morals of an alley cat. Devastating. Let's hear more from Doggett, someone else.
Respectfully call on him to do so. Now, this is happening as brand new CNN polling that was taken after the debate is giving us a fresh look at what voters think about Democrats' chances in November. And the numbers show this, that 75% of Americans think the party's chances would be better if someone else besides Biden were on the ticket.
No, never mind, man. Democrats, just go right ahead. Who the gives a shit about democracy, right? Who cares, dude? 18 trillion people are like, please, holy shit, resign. Please, God, let anyone else be in charge. Nah, who cares, dude? It's his turn. Twice. It's his turn. All over again. Every day is one less day to signal boost the other candidates. Yep. Every day that goes on without him graciously conceding is another day robbed of the swath of future candidates, their potential to get their voices out there. We're at the looking glass, people. We got 4 months before the general, let alone the convention. Meanwhile, the Dems are talking about like bringing up the convention to squash any discussion of this. Insane. The convention's in 6 weeks. We need to open it now. We are like genuinely at the threshold. Everyone complicit in saying that, everyone complicit in defending the idea that Biden is like he needs to stay in, or like it would be disastrous to open up the convention. It would be disastrous to run with Biden right now. Suggesting otherwise is delusional. Yes, it genuinely does seem like right now Biden's just holed up at Camp David, listening to his wife and son tell him what a good boy he is. You know, Jen O'Malley Dillon gave staunch defense of Biden's health to donors today. He's probably in better health than most of us, she said. This is so insulting, dude. Are you kidding me? How do you remember how for years now, and all the way back to 2020, moderate liberals acted like you were doing some kind of conservative Donald Trump-esque strategy if you brought attention to the fact that Joe Biden is 50 million years old? Like, no, you can't bring up that fact. How dare you mention the stuttering and the apparent cognitive decline and the fact that he's super old and the fact that he has no like virality or vitality and like stamina or whatever. You know, like how dare you bring that shit up? Biden being nominated in 3 weeks, conventions in 6, unless they open it. Update, but Hunter is potentially moving off pro-run. Hunter Biden has joined meetings with President Biden and his top aides this week at the White House. 4 people familiar with the matter who are told the reaction from senior White House staff has been, what the hell is happening? You guys realize this is legitimately Trumpian, right? The fact that like in a pivotal moment for the future of this country, we're getting Jill and Hunter to be like the primary advisors for Joe Biden. Joe Biden won't meet with Schumer or Jeffries, but he's up there in Camp David with his son who does crack. Whoa, hold on. We're mad right now. Don't sell me on the good parts of Hunter Biden. Come on. What's Camp David? It's a former military base that got converted into like the presidential retreat. It's a famous lodge. They go over there to chill and strategize, basically. It's supposed to be pretty. There are photos. It's July. There's no other candidate that can take Biden. No, I don't want anyone to take Biden. Biden needs to drop out. I don't want Biden arguing with anyone. I want him to put his hands up in the air and step down. Anyone would do better than him right now. Pete Buttigieg, Whitmer, Newsom, even Kamala Harris. Though I would really prefer it not be her. Michelle Obama, yeah, but she doesn't want to run. Can you imagine if in a critical moment for our democracy, the top aides and like cabinet members along President Biden meet with him and his son is there? Are you kidding me? Is this the Trump White House? Is this 2018 again? Is this a joke? Who the cares what you think? Hunter, I love you. Shut the up. You're just a guy. Why is Jill encouraging him so much? Because they're human. Jill Biden isn't a grifter. She probably honestly loves her husband. Like vice versa with Hunter. I don't think there's any like broader conspiratorial narrative with Hunter or with Jill. I literally think that Biden just feels bad and his like loved ones are gassing him up. Like, it's very human. Unfortunately, it's coming at the cost of the country. You know, my sympathies wane somewhat. Jenk said Jill Biden is power hungry. That's psychotic. There's no reason to believe Jill or Hunter are anything other than like just supportive, loving family members with Joe Biden. It's been pretty clearly demonstrated. Joe Biden is an unusually like good family man as politicians go.
The polling also shows the president's approval rating has sunk to a new low. It is now at just 36%. We're covering this from all angles. We have CNN's MJ Lee live at the White House. First, though, CNN's Harry Enton is here with us. Harry, break down some of the new polling for us.
I mean, these numbers are atrocious for Joe Biden. That's the only way you can put it. I guess the good news when you match him up against Donald Trump is that he hasn't lost any ground from where he was back in April, but he was trailing in April by 6 points. And he's trailing by 6 points now. And, you know, I just think you have to take back a step and look at where we were 4 years ago at this point. Joe Biden was leading Donald Trump by 9 points. This is just a completely different race, one in which Donald Trump has led basically continuously, at least during 2024, and one in which his lead, if anything, is holding or even getting larger right now, high single digits. And I think there's, of course, the big...
This analysis is kind of stupid and reductive for reasons I don't want to get into. I don't think these numbers mean anything. I agree that it's bad for Biden. I think this is a bad way to present it.
Question is, could another Democrat do better than Joe Biden against Donald Trump? And this new poll says, or at least suggests that perhaps they could. Because take a look here. Yes, Joe Biden is trailing Donald Trump by 6 percentage points. But look at this. Versus Kamala Harris, the vice president, it's just a 2-point race with no clear leader. So when I look at polls like this and you see the first call for Joe Biden to get out of the race from a member of Congress on the Democratic side, I don't think polling like this will stop those calls. I would only expect them to get louder if polling like this holds in other surveys.
Heritage Foundation is preparing a legal challenge if Joe Biden drops out from the nomination, which shows you that they're scared, by the way. The Heritage Foundation, which is, again, the architect, they are the architects of Project 2025. They know that Joe Biden is like the weak candidate they want to fight against. Much the same way that Hillary Clinton was the candidate that Trump wanted to fight against back in 2016. They know that they would have a lower shot against Buttigieg or Whitmer.
To serve his country, Biden should leave the race. That's the grim assessment from the New York Times editorial board, calling the president's candidacy a reckless gamble following his debate performance against former President Donald Trump.
But Biden is remaining defiant. He and Trump both returned to the campaign trail in dueling rallies yesterday.
We had a big victory against a man
Pete Buttigieg couldn't win a general election. There's simply too much homophobia in this country for him to have a chance. Actually, I disagree. I think the opposite. By far, the majority of Americans are supportive of gay rights, in spite of Trump's support. You know, even Trump virtue signaled support for gay people back in 2016. I think it would actually be a plus for Buttigieg because it would juxtapose the homophobia of the right wing against him. Much the same way that Obama swept back in 2008. And part of that was the fact that the Republicans weren't used to fighting against like a black candidate because it brought out the latent racism of their, not latent, sorry, the very evident racism of their party. I think that the fact that Buttigieg is gay would force the Republicans into an awkward position where it'd be more difficult for them to talk about culture war issues. You know? Does that make sense?
Most incompetent president in the history of our...
I know how to tell the truth.
I saw one poll that said Buttigieg would kill it in a lot of swing states. All that matters is winning in the swing states. Do we think Buttigieg would lose like California or New York? No, the only thing that matters is the swing states. Whitmer would do well in the swing states. So would Buttigieg, I think. I don't know as much about Newsom because Newsom is kind of like establishment Dem in the sense that being the governor of California gives you that association. I don't know if that would have as much swing state cred. I think Buttigieg would do well in the kind of like young guy, dark horse candidate sense. And I think Whitmer brings that energy. I like Whitmer a lot. I think she's got the sauce, you know?
Here with reaction, Fox News contributor and former Congressman Jason Chaffetz. By the way,
I thought this video would be about the subject of the article, but it's Fox News, so it never will. Oh, we're doing this? We're doing the free article bullshit with foxnews.com as well? Great. I don't know enough about the specifics of this case to argue whether or not it would or wouldn't be legal.
Can we have any insight into why Harris is doing better than Biden?
Yeah, I think we do have an insight. You know, in
She's
this
not
particular
1 million.
poll, partisans on each side, you know, Democrats support Joe Biden overwhelmingly. Republicans support Donald Trump overwhelmingly. This is a fight for the center of the electorate. It's a fight for independents. And what do we see among independents? I think that this gives it away, right? If you look and you compare Donald Trump versus Joe Biden and you compare Kamala Harris versus Donald Trump, what do you see? You see that Donald Trump leads among independents by 10 points when faced off against Joe Biden. But among independents, those voters that, of course, Donald Trump won in 2016 and then lost in 2020 to Joe Biden, you could see that Kamala Harris is actually ahead by 3 points. She's doing better in the
10-point difference in independence. Guys, we're falling on the sword right now. Don't forget, man. Don't forget. All of this, the Democrats are aware of it. They're doing this deliberately. They're looking at these numbers and flop sweating, and then they want to go and talk to Joe Biden, but he's too busy getting gassed up by his son and his wife. Like, that's the state of affairs we're in right now.
Center of the electorate. Now, of course, Harris is not as well known as Joe Biden. She's not as well known as Donald Trump either.
I don't want Harris, by the way. I don't want her. She's preferable to Biden at this point, but I don't want her. I would much prefer Buttigieg, Whitmer, Newsom.
But if you look at this point right at this time, what you see is that 22% of voters have no opinion of Kamala Harris. Either they have no opinion or they've never heard of her. Compare that to 8% for Joe Biden, 7% for Donald Trump. So at this point, in my mind, she's a generic Democrat. As she gets better known, those numbers against Donald Trump, given that Donald Trump is not popular at this point, those numbers can close even more. At this point, looking at this data, I am not really quite sure that Democrats can do any worse than they are doing with Joe Biden at the top of the ticket. They may, in fact, do better.
Very interesting. Harry, thank you for that new reporting on the polls. We appreciate it. Let's go to CNN's MJ Lee now.
How the f does 7% of America have no opinion of Trump? Welcome to the median voter, my friend. Welcome to welcome to the real world. The average arguing politics online, you know. All right, okay. I've constructed my axioms, and I believe that we should elect candidates that would maximize these values. Now, of course, if we take a look at like historical precedent for that, arguing with somebody in politics in real life, yeah, I've always been like a blondes guy, and I think blondes are just more like, you know, they got more energy. So yeah, I'm more of a Trump guy. I don't know if he's like actually blonde, but like, yeah, I like it, you know. And you have to argue with that. That's like the position you have to argue against to convince him.
Who is live for us at the White House. MJ, you have a sitting Democrat in Congress now calling on the president to resign. Has the White House responded?
Yeah, no official reaction yet, Brianna, from the White House or the campaign on the first sitting Democratic lawmaker, as you said, calling on the president to basically step aside and make way for somebody else. Of course, the big concern for the campaign is going to be...
Is it normal in some ways to hate undecided voters more than Republicans? I think that hating undecided voters is the mark of a healthy and well-adjusted person. I think that you should wake up every day and be somewhat animated by your overwhelming hatred of the median voter. You know, the median voter, the undecided voter, you know, it all blends together in like a steaming witch's cauldron of hate that you feel. I think that's normal and good. It's good for you.
Is this truly the beginning of the dam starting to break within the party? But what we do know is that, according to reporting from our Jake Tapper, some Democratic governors held a call yesterday and they discussed the concerns that they shared after what they saw on the debate stage last week. And they've asked for a meeting with the White House so that they can discuss those concerns, whether in person or virtually. And the White House is now looking at tomorrow as a potential date for this meeting for a group of Democratic governors, but it is clear that the emphasis coming from the governors is that this is a moment when they feel like they need to hear directly from the president. And
unironically, the fact that Pod Save is calling for Biden to step down feels very indicative of how bad things are. It's everyone. Biden's advisors, his staffers, governors, Hakeem Jeffries pressing for everybody. The internals are saying it. It's not just like a set of grifter Democrat like Tulsi Gabbard types screeching about it because they want to get Fox News careers. Like everyone is saying this,
including the vice president, actually, as well. From the
apparently, Pod Save went back in what they said. They got a call from Obama.
White House, and some of these governors made clear in this discussion that one of the concerns they have is actually about going public with what they are worried about, because they think that it could have the possibility of resulting in the Biden campaign digging in even further.
Wait, did they actually get a call from Obama? Because I was making a joke, but multiple people now have said it as though it was like a matter-of-fact thing. Did they actually? Because they literally had staffers on the Obama. No, they did? It's mostly a joke. We heard it from Hassan. Is it a joke, or did they literally get a call from Obama? I like how Obama was like one of the most successful politicians in recent memory in terms of his ability to like seize the public attention and shift the party alongside him. And since leaving the presidency, all he does now is occasionally call people behind the scenes to tell them that the world can't be better than it is. He's done nothing with it. He literally just like once a year, he makes a Thanksgiving tweet. And he calls people sometimes to tell them to not get too rowdy, and that's it.
Now, I should note, one interesting note is that we've not gotten any readouts from the White House since the debate last week of the president reaching out directly, making phone calls or otherwise, to top Democratic elected officials like a Leader Jeffries or a Senator Schumer. And that seems incredibly notable given the gravity of the situation right now.
Yeah, the fact that Biden isn't like going crazy and contacting everyone is genuinely insane. Like, do you have any idea how bad that is? Do you have any idea how like bad things must be behind the scenes for, in this environment, Joe Biden to not be out there making like 57 calls a day?
Yeah, it should be alarming to those lawmakers that they are not hearing from the president, because a normal reaction is that he should be calling up everyone and assuaging concerns, doing whatever he can. I wonder about donors, how concerned they are, because I know you have some new information about the campaign's attempt to...
Whoa, hold on. White House Chief of Staff Jeff Zients is holding an all-staff call tomorrow at 12:30, 9:30 my time. Ooh, there's no way, right? There's no way it's it. There's no way. I want it to be so badly, but there's no way, right? There's no shot. They would have to hold an all-staff call around the same time as, or a little bit before, like the announcement got made public, because of the gravity of the announcement. What else could it realistically be? We're talking about the Democrats. I feel like the all-staff call is going to be, hey guys, thanks for joining the call. Just to let you know, everything's hunky-dory. Stay the course, and then it'll be over. Like, yeah, it's so psychotic, Adam, something. It's crazy. All of the like myth of institutional competence dissolving into thin air the moment the stats and the numbers become inconvenient to the Democratic establishment, you know? It's all like, oh, we're the responsible ones, we're the adults in charge, until every number points against Joe Biden winning and he's getting like coddled by his son and wife.
Assure them.
Yeah, and that level of outreach is very much going on, as we've reported over the last couple of days. And yesterday there was a call that the campaign chair, Jen O'Malley Dillon, held with hundreds of donors. And Jeff Zeleny and I spoke with a number of the participants, and it was clear, at least on this call, that O'Malley Dillon wanted to make clear that they were not changing course, at least.
Is it possible Biden was planning on stepping down all week and the media was wrong about it? Very unlikely, but somewhat possible. The reason for that being is that this is not information that they would be willing to leak at all before making the big announcement. So if they're getting hounded by the media, their reflexive announcement would be, no, everything is fine, you know? Like, this is the case for basically any big announcement. Like, they're not ready to say it until they're ready to say it, but I would be shocked if they're going to say it. It's possible. I would be very surprised.
At least not right now. And she apparently, according to participants, offered a very staunch defense of the president's health. At one point, according to two participants, she said, quote, he's probably in better health than most of us.
Fuck you.
Now, one of the participants reacted to this by saying they found this an offensive thing to say, and basically dismissive of how widespread the concerns have been and how deep the concerns have been about the president's fitness to serve. Just one thing I will note coming out of the campaign today is that they did release their June fundraising numbers. They said that the campaign had raised $127 million in that month, that this was the best month to date. So far in the cycle, they now have $240 million of cash on hand. But of course, Brianna, despite that bright spot for the campaign, the problem right now for the campaign isn't money, isn't fundraising.
Yeah, no, it's not. Also, the Democrats don't know how to spend money, okay? I know enough to know that very often they get this money and they're like, and then they like burn it in a pile and do a little rain dance. Like, how often do you guys see that money getting flexed? You know, they suck at spending it.
It is the question about the viability of the candidate himself.
All right, MJ, I do want to tell you, and this may be the first time you're hearing this as well, but we have just gotten word that ABC News has announced that President Biden will be doing an extended interview with George Stephanopoulos. We expect, as I understand it, this will air in its entirety on Sunday, but I think we are going to be seeing some of the clips of this before then. This is, or pardon me, July 5th, I should say. This is very interesting, MJ, because this was something we know that the campaign had been considering, and there's going to be, we should be clear, a lot riding on this interview, right?
Absolutely, Brianna. This is going to be the first time that we are really seeing the president in an unscripted setting. You know, so far since Thursday night, we've seen the president in different settings in public, but basically every single time he has been using a teleprompter, using prepared remarks, and also he hasn't taken any questions from members of the media, including last night when he gave remarks here at the White House. So the fact
that's another gigantic red flag for things moving forward. Like, Joe Biden's responses during the debate were prepared but not read from a teleprompter. Most of the time when we see him in public, he's reading from a teleprompter. We actually have not seen him give unscripted responses in how long? A very long time. State of the Union address, teleprompter. His speech after the debate, teleprompter. When was the last time you saw him just chill and talk? That's the difference, man. Donald Trump doesn't use a teleprompter. Well, of course he does, but he often doesn't. He just goes up there and rambles in a lot of cases. And he can ramble just fine. Do we know that Joe Biden can even communicate when he's not reading off of a teleprompter or reading prepared responses? I did not see that shit, Demon Mama. What the f*** are you talking about?
That he is going to be sitting down with a trusted TV anchor and taking a whole lot of questions about anything and everything, and is using this as an opportunity to basically show the side of me that you saw on the debate stage on Thursday night. That was a fluke. That was just one.
Reminded of my favorite Joe Biden teleprompter moment.
Yeah. By the way, remember when he was trying to deal with COVID, he said, just inject a little bleach in your veins.
Is that it? No, not this part.
He missed it. All went to his hair.
Oh! What? Oh, what is this? Just show me the clip. I'm not watching your shit, man. Joe Biden again deploys teleprompter, takes no questions 19 minutes ago. That was good?
I see an America where we defend democracy, not diminish it. I see an America where we protect freedoms, not take them away. I see an economy the gross and middle out and the bottom up, where the wealthy pay their fair share, so we can have child care, paid leave, and so much more, and still reduce the federal deficit and increase economic growth. Folks, imagine what we can do next. 4 more years. Pause.
Me, dude, we're doomed. God damn it, man.
Bad night. That's what the campaign has been saying. But here is sort of the President Biden that Democrats are hoping to see that is sort of in charge and in command of the facts. We'll see. You know, this is going to be a gamble, but frankly, I think the campaign in the White House really had no choice. We've seen surrogates and supporters of the campaign basically saying it is imperative that the president get out there in these kinds of settings, unscripted settings, and prove that he can do the job and that he is fit to serve. Which
nice. We're so. Oh, this it? Biden's campaign rips, quote, bedwetting brigade and fundraising blast. Love that, man. Oh, you think that I performed miserably in the debate where everyone on earth agrees I performed miserably? You're all a bunch of pansies for thinking I did poorly. Accept the Democratic mandate. Vote for your God, Emperor. That's cool. Wow, this is a cursed photo. Jesus Christ. Some like Junji Ito shit. It's uncanny, like looking like SCP shit, looking down a long hallway. Plug walk. Shut the fuck up. It's not Pride anymore. Get back of the line, Skittle Squad. The bedwetting brigade is calling for Joe Biden to, quote, drop out. This is the best possible way for Donald Trump to win, for us to lose. It's so over, man. At the end of the day, we'd switch to candidates who would, according to polls, be less likely to win than Joe Biden. This is factually incorrect. They're just lying in the... Yeah, of course they are. Joe Biden, the only person to ever defeat Donald Trump. Do they think that's a compelling argument? They directly call PodSave self-important podcasters in the email. You can tell they're upset about it. Better to be right with piss pants? Yeah, I guess. Sheesh. For now, the Biden campaign has renewed a fight with a favorable foil, the media. You see the awesome clips of our supporters on the tarmac doing the Cupid shuffle at 2 a.m. on the night of the debate. Read a Biden fundraising email from the weekend. Well, no, probably because the media is too busy hyperventilating and trying to manifest drama to boost ratings. Me when I'm not mad? The what? This is like... I genuinely feel like the Biden team on the back end is like like the vibes inside the office must be putrid right now. Like nobody knows what's going on. Half the people there want to leave and or kill themselves. Like people are losing their shit. They're like, we have to get a fundraising email out, and the most psychotic like pro Biden staffer is like, I'll get on it, sir. You know, like it's rancid vibes. I don't think there's any incumbent advantage anymore, man. I think it's an incumbent disadvantage. Pod Save America host. How crazy is it that the Biden campaign is so defensive and entitled that they're attacking Pod Save America, the biggest DNC dick suckers in the universe, over criticism? Can you imagine? They've spent literally like years and years and years being some of the biggest establishment shills out there. And then like they, along with the entire universe, agree that Joe Biden has to step down. And it's like, oh, these self-important podcasters. This is exactly why people accuse the Democrats of being arrogant coastal liberal elites. And this is something they do worse than Republicans. Republicans are afraid of their base. Democrats aren't. Democrats just aren't. Democrats, the establishment, the DNC, does not adjust their behavior to account for the will of the people. They do not. They know fully well that their constituency, or at least the relevant part of it, is a group of like neurotic, submissive do-nothings who worship the establishment and have no interest in meaningfully challenging the DNC, whereas the Republicans like periodically receive death threats from the crazier elements of their party. Like the Republicans have always lived in fear of their base, which is why they've catapulted themselves over into the far right in order to accommodate the interests of their constituency. It's insane. I think you're being a little unfair to Pod Save. I think I could be very unfair to Pod Save for my entire life, and it wouldn't be enough. I have something. I cannot talk to another person right now. Democrats hate their base. They hate their base. Democrats are contemptuous of their base, or towards their base. 100% they are. Even Joe Manchin, the most loyal Democratic ally. Manchin threatened to break with Biden before senior Democrats intervened. Things are going great, man. The debate performance so good that it's literally fracturing your party. Am I hearing Vosh make the anti-electoralism argument? No shot, dude. You're correct. No shot, dude. You did not hear that. Thank you for clarifying, though. Serious question. Do you think Trump likes his base? I think Trump likes applause, but I think also because Trump likes applause, he will adjust his messaging and his strategy to appeal to the interests of the people who vote for him. He changes his messaging in order to appeal to those who vote for him. Does Biden? That's the difference. The Republicans understand where power comes from. Power comes from fundamentally the mandate of the people. No matter how authoritarian you are, if everyone in your country hates you, that's it for you, buddy. You have to build a system that supports your rule. And that's why Republicans put effort into messaging, top-down messaging. They use the bully pulpit. They argue, and they shout, and they scream. And do they lie? All the time, man. But that doesn't matter for power building. Lying is irrelevant. The truthfulness of the statement is irrelevant. What matters is the consistency, the effectiveness of the narrative. Democrats don't care about this. They do not care. God, this is a creepy little walk. I had an hour-plus call with a DC resident who really thinks Biden needs to stay in or else to lose. Think of it this way. There are lots of people who will not vote for Biden but might vote for another Democratic candidate. But the people who want to vote for Biden no matter what will probably vote for any Democratic candidate put forward. How many Biden loyalists are there who wouldn't vote for another frontline Democrat? How many people are there like that? Biden's not he's not Sanders. He's not some out there like moderate appealing. He's like the establishment. Who would be so much of an establishment Dem that they would worship Biden to the point that they would take him but not vote for a replacement Democratic candidate? I genuinely don't know who that person is. This is one of the reasons why, and people love to forget this, there's a difference between popularity in the primary and popularity in the general. Because in the primary, your ability to appeal to independents or even moderate Republicans is irrelevant, completely irrelevant. All that matters is appealing to your loyal party base. But the loyal party base might be willing to vote for the more out there candidate because they understand the importance of a Democrat winning over a Republican, but that out there candidate might be better at appealing to independents. This is why Bernie Sanders lost to Hillary Clinton in the primary, but would have won in the general. I firmly believe this. This is reflected in how well Dems poll in congressional races versus how well Biden polls. Yeah, Biden's approval rating is what, 36% now? Whereas in a lot of congressional, you can look at congressional districts where the Democrats are like overwhelmingly favored to win, but then you look at the presidential margins and they're a lot weaker, you know? But independent/swing voters don't exist in significant numbers. Loki Esquire, you're the opposite of true. There are more independent/swing voters than there are Democrats or Republicans. They're the largest base. It's like 30% Republicans, 30% Democrats, and 40% like undecided/independent/moderate/whatever you know? The massive like bulk of people in this country that don't have a strong commitment to either party. The only thing that matters are swing states, you know? We're not losing California. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you trust polls? I trust polls when they agree with my narrative, and when they disagree with my narrative, I think they're made by the devil/Hitler. Who do you think is most likely to replace Biden, and who would you rather have over him? There are 4 viable candidates. It's Kamala Harris, Gavin Newsom, Gretchen Whitmer, and Pete Buttigieg. And of those 4, my least favorite is Kamala Harris. My most favorite is Whitmer. Next up is Buttigieg, and then Gavin Newsom. I don't think Gavin Newsom has the ability to mobilize as much support. Pritzker gang? Maybe. To mobilize as much support in swing states, though. Would there be problems with drastically switching the candidate? Yes, but there'd be problems with running with the current candidate as well. Whitmer locking down Michigan would be great. That's another benefit to Whitmer specifically as well. Whitmer would lock down the Michigan vote. That'd be one swing state, like, guaranteed with Whitmer, yeah. Whereas Gavin Newsom would lock down California, which is already going to vote blue, so it wouldn't. Yeah, Civ bonus trade, exactly. You know, guaranteed Michigan support. Remember when when Warren lost PA? I hate her. I hate her. Yeah, DM, the energy that would be mobilized by switching out the candidates or opening up the convention would be so massive. It would force the Republicans out of the discourse for like months. Did I say PA? MA. Shut up. It's my right as a political streamer to fuck up like states and where people are from 4 to 5 times every stream. Also, give me your money. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. billions of dollars of free media where Dems are forced to talk about what they believe. Yeah, no, literally, it would be an ungodly amount of free advertising for their case. Who's out there watching Biden? Genuine question. Who's out there looking at Biden's speeches? I mean, we do sometimes. They're boring and samey. No one gives a shit. Everyone already knows. One of the big problems with the turnout in this race is the fact that, like, everyone already knows both candidates. We could fix that by having new blood. I don't think Whitmer could not pull as well as Buttigieg would in the swing state. I mean, again, like, I don't know for sure. I think Buttigieg and Whitmer would both have a decent shot. I don't think they'd be guarantees, but I think they'd be better than Biden. Even establishment hardliners are floating the Biden dropout.
Popularity. How would you feel if there is a decision for him to step down, if he decides that, and he has to decide that? Or if the party pressures him to do that, how would you feel if they worked around and tried to go around Kamala Harris because of her lack of high poll numbers and popularity and broadly based? Do you think it's hers to have if it...
What happens if Biden does win? Well, that would be maybe the funniest possible outcome. So, I don't know, man. Make of that what you will.
It's not his?
I will support her if he were to step aside. But I want to support her going forward at sometime in the future. I want this ticket to continue to be Biden-Harris, and then we'll see what happens after the next election. No, this party should not in any way do anything to work around Ms. Harris. We should do everything we can to bolster her, whether it's in second place or at the top of the ticket.
That's pretty significant, dude. Clyburn is pretty establishment, right? He has a lot of pull in, like, the Black Caucus as well. Him being like, yeah, you know, I'm with Harris even if she's at the top of the ticket is kind of like, yeah. I mean, I don't want her to be at the top of the ticket, but still. He is the establishment Democrat. Yeah, I mean, he's up there. He's so old. Yeah, I mean, he's got a lot more sauce in him than Biden does. What if they put Clyburn up? Please no. Please no.